So, I'm in the middle of a move, and as my life goes into boxes, or the life I've lived to this point goes into boxes, I had talked to a friend about my moving, and they said, well, if you move away, some of your problems will go away, referring to things within the community. And it was funny. And I told them what I'm about to tell you. I don't have problems. See, for me, I've never needed a community. Community was supposed to be a place I went to hang out with like-minded individuals. Community to me is what, or when, I should say, people come together to celebrate something and to support each other and to protect each other and look out for each other. And I've referred to this as my local community. I don't even know if I can call it that anymore. Here's some truth. I don't have any problems because none of the people outside of the person I'm in a dynamic with really has any control over my day-to-day life. There are some people who have decided that they want to protect someone who violated my consent, but someone violating my consent's not my problem. It's already happened. That's a past tense. My consent's already violated. So the problem isn't mine, it's the entire community's problem. And the lack of action shows the type of community it is. Community gets judged by how they react to things, how they do things, and how many people show up. And there are a lot of indicators that a community is no longer trusted. And you see all those very much so, very loudly around this area. But it's the idea that they're my problems. And that really says it all, doesn't it? And this is nothing against my friend. They just didn't, I don't think they really thought about it. The fact that someone who is a consent violator is being protected by some people, and no one ever seems to care until it's someone that someone cares about, that's a problem for the community. Not my problem, the community's problem. The fact that I have made videos about things that are really happening, that's not my problem. Again, that's the community's problem. The fact that behaviors have gone unchecked down here and even encouraged, not my problem. That's the community's problem. The fact that you have educators saying things that have upset a lot of the community, well, again, not my problem. That's the community's problem. And the reason it's not my problem is because most days I don't want to associate with this community, not as it is. There are some good people within this community, but there are a lot of people who are allowing things to happen. And it is one of those things where how much further, how much longer, how many more people need to get hurt, need to be taken advantage of, need to be taught the wrong things before, well, everyone actually gives a shit. See, the problems are the communities. They're not mine. I've lived a very long life with, I'm in my 45s. I don't know if we're going to call that long life, but I've lived a long enough life that I've seen decades come and go. The bigger point I'm trying to say to you right now is that in all those years, I barely ever needed the community. I have just gone to hang out with this community. Most of my partners have never come from the community, as a matter of fact. And a lot of people leave the community because of the people who seem to stick around. And a lot of people who know what I'm saying is absolutely true. And I've heard it time and time again with this community down here. Well, we go through waves every 3 or 4 years. That sounds to me like there aren't standards. It's the Wild West. It's where some teacher can stand up, or, they were calling them educators at the point, and say that if you get your consent violated, if you're abused, that's because you didn't vet right. That playing with a passed out playmate or someone who's not responsive is perfectly fine. saying that if you say no, if you can't say no, you shouldn't be in the lifestyle. And that's a little more complicated because some people just inherently don't feel comfortable with saying no because they're afraid of what what could cause to happen by saying no. There's a lot there. There's so much there. And it's these, we'll call them shallow-minded through knowledge, are saying that are completely dangerous. And yet you have these community members, these people who say they can do things, say that they're all for, in the right circumstance, when they want to brag about it and stand up and say when something's going wrong, to come to them, and then when something goes wrong, they don't want to be got to. You have a community that says they'll protect people, but when it comes time to protecting, all they'll protect is the people violating consent. There's someone down here who I now have, I lost count. We're at 10 and 11 people that this person has touched on consensually, has said awful things to, and it just keeps going. And it's just going to continue to keep going because the community's allowing it. And remember, we don't cancel a person, but we certainly talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it. Because in the BDSM community, we're not going to admit when they're abusive people. And we wonder why the vanilla world villainizes us. Not all of us are bad people, and there are great communities out there. The New York City community that I'm still part of to this day because I stay in touch has great pockets. And it has bad pockets, but at least in New York, they deal with it. They call out predators. And yeah, there are a lot of people getting away with a lot of stuff because now they know how to do things that are awful. So here's my question to all of you, to especially the TikTok educators who think they're smarter. If we're such a great overall community, why do we still believe the predators instead of the victims, instead of the people who are having their violated consent, instead of the people who are being bullied when they're standing up for other people, and for the people who are truly trying to make an accepting space? There can be no safe space in a BDSM community because we know it's always going to attract predatory behavior. But if we're not willing to call out as a community the predators, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's because it doesn't affect you. So only until someone you care about gets hurt. But here's the problem. What about that person getting hurt when you're not around so you can't stop it? What about all the people you'll meet in your life who have already been hurt? All because people wouldn't stand up and say, no, not in my community. I'm not going to continue to go off about this today, but I'm not going to back down either. So the end of this, the problem was never mine. The problem's always been the community's. And until the community as a whole, and this means the people who call themselves group leaders or even community leaders, which is hysterical to me because one of them is the person with 11 and growing people. And one day, it's funny because some people are starting to whisper, maybe all those people who have had their consent violated should just show up to one of the events, one of the open events. And at that point, 11 people standing up. Look at Bill Cosby, it took that. Look at all these other predatory behavior that it took a lot of people standing up and saying, this is enough, not in my community, or not in my industry, or not appropriate. Bill Cosby, we had, that guy just got released, what's his name? And there were people like the Family Guy creator, Seth, was talking about the things he was doing. You had one of the Jimmys, the ABC Jimmy Kimmel, saying things about them in jokes. This was known, and it's known for a very long time. And it's allowed to continue to happen. This is human behavior 101. If you don't think it's affecting you directly, you ignore it. But then when it affects you directly, suddenly you want ribbons, you want parades, you want to wave a flag. Where were you before? See, here's the thing. I've been standing up against bullies for a very long time and will continue to do so. I have been advocating for safety within BDSM and the ending of abuseful behavior within BDSM. I have stood up and said my piece, and that becomes their problem. See, when someone like me who has a voice can't be intimidated, we have social media now, so that doesn't work. Because I can have a point of view that they can't silence and they can't make quiet. And trust me, they've tried. then this is what happens. And then they have the audacity to blame me. To blame me for separation and the fact that there's problems in the community. No, that's not me. That's you. Because the things I'm saying, people hear and realize are true. They hear it and they go, this is an unsafe place. Most people in the community, when they see the red flags that you all are, they're going to run away, and rightfully so. I have disdain for the lack of action of many people in here who want to play leader. Playing leader means having the difficult conversations. I had warned someone that one rugrat that we have down here was only going to become more dangerous. But the things they were saying, and sure enough, they did, and I wasn't taken serious. And that's the thing. We're not taken serious because people want to protect their friends. They want to put their popularity first. And when you've been around long enough, here are 3 things I guarantee you. Those who seek popularity always lose it eventually. The truth comes out about who they are. It's just the truth. If you violate someone's consent, you probably have done it multiple times, and you'll get caught. And then everyone will play, oh my God, how could this be? While they let everything happen. It's very disingenuous. And the most important thing, the third thing, is better leaders come through. Natural born leaders, not people who have to pound their chest or wear a pin to say, I'm a leader, but they really do get followed because they're genuine and honest. I have never understood this until now. Smaller communities are the most dangerous communities because it does not take a lot for the wrong people to get in control and make other people who should know better not take action. And then bad things happen. It's been happening a long time. And then when the bad things happen, everyone acts shocked. There's no shock here, ladies and gentlemen. This is just not protecting people in our community. So, can you even call yourself a community? Or are you just a place that gathers some people and encourages people to be abused? Calling out new people at events, that's a really red flag behavior. Not just me, go look it up. Other educators have been saying this for a very long time, longer than some of the people in this community who consider themselves leaders to have even been in it. And maybe experience matters more than time. We look at some people, they've been here 40 years. But in those 40 years, what have they really done? What do they understand? You know what I want communities to be? A place we all come together and just talk about our kinks. We don't need someone trying to brainwash us and tell us about what they want the community to be and how they see things. I never thought I'd live to see the stuff that was happening in the late 90s and 80s circle back around. And I didn't get to experience the 80s stuff, but I did see the late 90s, and I was happy to see it all go away, just for it to come back now. And repackaged and using different words now, but it's the same bullshit. And here's the thing that sucks the most. And I'm going to tell it to you because you need to know. Standing up against bullies, it always comes with a cost to the people who do it. But there's nothing like knowing that, and this is true, your actions could potentially save other people from emotional, lifelong scars, stories they have to tell later on why they can't easily trust. I assure you all it's worth it. See, in the end, I don't have the problem. They have a problem. That problem's me. Moving or not, I know people in the community who will tell me what's what. They'll continue to tell me about the things that are going on, and be assured, as I hear them, I'll share them here. We have to be very careful when we cite the word, well, we can't out people. Outing a predator is not outing someone. Outing a predator is making sure people are safe. So if someone acts like a predator, call them out. But don't call them out on somewhere where they won't be seen. Call them out in your community. Put a post up that says, I'm happy to tell anyone who wants to hear. Message me. I'll tell you who to avoid. Let them talk shit about you. Because once people meet you, they'll see that those shit talkers aren't true. And let people hate you for a while. Life's short. They all will fucking realize. And then they all come back kissing your ass in a long enough Venn diagram. So, my advice, be the person you'd want to follow. Be the community member you'd want to hang out with. And be the human being that you'd want to be friends with. And remember, community problems aren't your problem, no matter what everyone tries to tell you. It's the community's problems, because they always try to make it about you and not the things that are going on. Stay safe out there, my friends, and build the communities you want to